It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. I'd like to tell you once again about the Patriots VAC 746. Now, if you haven't gotten on Facebook and researched them, you need to. You need to just go and search for the Patriots VAC 746. If you're all about the Second Amendment, if you're all about your human right, your natural right of self-defense, self-preservation, then you need to check them out because they're on a mission to educate those all across the state about your Second Amendment rights and your rights here in Arkansas. The fact is that you do not need a permit in this state to carry a weapon, open or concealed, if you're not in a prohibited place. And that's really, really huge news, and it's continuing to spread, and people are continuing to be liberated by it and understand the liberty that they have thanks to a 2013 law that was passed, and coming off some huge victories, Patriots, as far as I'm concerned, with two resolutions clarifying that Act 746 is the law of the land this past session. Really, really powerful stuff. Here to talk more about that with us is Mr. Junior Ainsworth from the Patriots VAC 746 out of West Memphis. Junior, welcome to the program.
Good, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So, are you calling from West Memphis this morning?
Correct, I am.
All right. You guys getting excited for that full-fledged casino?
Well, that's a different subject.
Yeah, yes. I'm sorry. I know it's a completely different subject, but it's certainly going to be interesting to see what happens. Going really the whole state, going to get these big casinos. So, Junior, tell me, how did you get involved with the Patriots VAC 746, sir?
Well, I was looking back. I first liked their page in August of 2017 to learn my gun rights, to learn laws, and in September of the same year, I had a 19-year-old daughter driving to school and back 60 miles one way. And I called some of our local law enforcement, asked about the gun laws, see where they stood. And I had 4 different stories coming from 4 different agencies, and all of them telling me she was not old enough to carry at 19. And the law clearly states anyone under the age of 18 may not possess. So that got me involved and got me working harder, trying to inform more people, and it's taken off. We now have a chapter in West Memphis. We got our chapter the first of the year, around the 3rd or 4th of January of this year. We're now 300 to 320 members.
Great.
And we're spreading the word, and we're actually getting the word out to our 18 to 20-year-olds.
That's fantastic. So, so you're saying here's an example that you had questions about what the law is. You reach out to law enforcement officials you want to see if your daughter can protect herself. You get different answers, and so the Patriots VAC 746 was a resource for you, and your daughter, I'm assuming, was able to protect herself then.
Correct. But there's a lot of misinformation, and I believe it's worse on this side of the state. Information somehow or some way does not make its way over to the eastern part of the state.
Yeah, that's interesting. So that's how you found out. Now, so you say that the chapter is grown to 300 people over in the West Memphis area. Do you guys have meetings regularly? You have anything coming up?
We do. We have monthly meetings. We've got 7 different counties that we cover. We just had one last month. We'll have another one in 2 weeks on May 4th. Northeast chapter, they're having one this Saturday. Also, we've actually got 2 this Saturday.
Okay, you have 2 this Saturday.
Who's having the other one?
Okay, I know the Northeast chapter of Patriots is having one in Paragould at Iron Horse. So yeah, that's this Saturday around 2. And so that'll certainly be, I'm sure it's going to be very well attended because they always are, and people are very excited. Some legislators will be there. So, Junior, I'm just curious. Did you catch did you catch any of the laws or proposed laws that came out of the Arkansas General Assembly this session? Were you excited when the House of Representatives and the Senate passed two identical resolutions saying, hey, listen, because of the circuit court case Taft versus State of Arkansas, that affirmed Arkansas as a constitutional carry state. You don't need a permit to carry open or concealed. Did you think that was a pretty big deal?
That was a huge deal. It was a huge deal for Arkansans as well as the Patriots.
Did you also, here's another question. CNN, they had their big town hall. Joe, can you cue this up for a second? CNN had their big town hall, and Kamala Harris, Kamala, I don't know how you're supposed to say her name. I call her Kamala Extract because I'm a Battlestar Galactica nerd. It's a drug on a science fiction show. So Kamala Extract Harris said this when asked about gun control and her ideas behind it. Listen to this and we'll get your reaction, Junior.
Mr. Educator, I'm really bothered that public schools are being targets for mass shootings. 2 days ago was the 20th anniversary of the Columbine massacre, but still 2 decades later, no major gun control legislation has been passed. So my question is, as president, how will you go about keeping our schools safe and keeping guns out of the hands of those who should not have them?
Thank you, Ben. And I'm sure that there are plenty of students here who, while you were in high school, even middle school, that you had to participate in a drill, right? Where you were convened and your teachers taught you about how you need to go and run in a closet because there may be a mass shooter roaming the hallways of your school. And in our
so
America, that should never have to happen. Conversations take place every night. Conversations take place every night between students and their parents. Why do these things have to happen? Why do we have to have a drill like that? To which, of course, the response is because there are people in Washington, D.C., supposed leaders, who have failed to have the courage to reject a false choice, which suggests you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away.
That is
supposed
the choice.
Leaders in Washington, D.C., who have failed to have the courage to recognize, you know what, you want to go hunting, that's fine. But we need reasonable gun safety laws in this country, starting with universal background checks and a renewal of the assault weapon ban. But they have failed to have the courage to act. So, Ben, here's my response to you. Upon being elected, I will give the United States Congress 100 days to get their act together and have the courage to pass reasonable gun safety laws. And if they fail to do it, then I will take executive action. And specifically what I will do is put in place a requirement that for anyone who sells more than 5 guns a year, they are required to do background checks when they sell those guns. I will require that for any gun dealer that breaks the law, the ATF take their license. And by the way, ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Well, the ATF has been doing a lot of the A and the T, but not much of the F. And we need to fix that. And then on the third piece, because none of us have been sleeping over the last 2 years, part of what has happened under the current administration is they took fugitives off the list of prohibited people. I'd put them back on the list, meaning that fugitives from justice should not be able to purchase a handgun or any kind of weapon.
So Junior Ainsworth with the Patriots VAC 746, she says she'd pass an executive order if something doesn't happen in the first 100 days. And she proposes gun control measures that actually wouldn't stop a lot of the mass shootings that we see. How do you respond to that?
Wow, just so much wrong with that. As president, first of all, she can't go around Congress and mess with our Second Amendment, with any amendment. And bless her heart, how her Democrats, I think they live in a bubble. They're not in the real world. You can't fix a person's heart or a person's mind and make it fix gun control. we already have universal background checks. We actually have great background checks. No individual can just walk in a store and hand over money and buy a gun. You have to go through a system. You have to get checked out. And our people just don't get it.
What do you think when she said, "You want to hunt? That's fine, but we want these laws passed"? Do you think that? I mean, Second Amendment, it's not about hunting.
It's not. It never has been about hunting. That's their go-to to try to cover themselves, and it don't work. People are starting to realize it's not about hunting. It's about they want to take our guns, and we have safeguards in place to stop it. But people need to be informed. They need to get out. They need to be active. There are so many people. That's their go-to to get elected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take guns. I'm gonna get gun control. We're gonna stop this. And there again, you can't stop someone who has ill intent.
And they don't seem to understand that. And that's why, you know, some of them, I think, honestly, they have good intentions. They don't understand weapons. They don't understand guns. But I think the other ones really just want us to, I mean, if you disarm the population of the United States, it's so much easier to control us and take away more of our freedoms. I mean, that's the bottom line here. And I think most Americans understand that. That's why they feel that the Second Amendment is sacrosanct. I mean, it's just something that you're not supposed to mess with, or at least, you know, flyover country does. And you know, she sets up this false. She sets up what she believes is a straw man, where she says, "I'm sick and tired of the argument being, you know, you either you're going to take our guns away, or you can have the Second Amendment." And she says that's not, but that is that. See, that's the problem. That is the argument, because the stuff that she mentioned wouldn't have stopped the mass shootings that we know are a problem or a tragedy. The stuff that she mentioned wouldn't actually have stopped those. And so you have to say, well, in their minds, they believe that if they took away our Second Amendment right, we would be safer. And the only way that would be true, just in terms of how efficiently you could kill someone, is if they were able to successfully get every single weapon out of the hand, and I'm talking every single one of them gone, off the streets, off everything. And that is impossible. There's no way to do that. So then the criminals obviously would still have them, and we would all be victims and all would be vulnerable. And more importantly, we would be more likely to be really enslaved by our own government if we weren't armed. And that is that is the argument. And it's a shame that the left doesn't see it that way.
Right. Prime example, Chicago. Strictest gun laws in the country, and there's murders there basically every day.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right, and not by assault rifles, by handguns. You know, I mean, if we're really, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't. They're statistics. They just ignore the statistics, and that's why they're not serious about it. This drives me nuts. That they're just a bunch of phonies. Like they're not even serious about trying to solve what they are saying is this huge epidemic, this huge problem, and they won't even, if they came out and said we just need to ban handguns, people would revolt. You know.
You're right. And the assault weapon is one thing that's touchy for me. I believe I can take a single shot 22 out and shoot someone with it, and it automatically becomes an assault weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My big, pretty, scary black AR-15 is not an assault weapon.
Well, no, it's not. Yeah, I agree with that. I totally 100% agree with that. And you know, they don't even know what they're talking about. You know, it's like if you're gonna. Can the left find somebody who actually knows the difference between a magazine and a clip? I mean, you know, if they're gonna find a gun control advocate that actually knows about guns, I mean, that's what they really need. But they're not going to really. I don't think they're going to find one because you know, Because I think if you understand firearms, you're more likely to support other people having them. Unless you're the Arkansas Sheriff's Association, that's a burn. Sorry.
That's a big burn.
Well, Junior, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate all the work you're doing in West Memphis.
Well, thank you so much, and everyone, please check out our Patriots page, check out our Arkansas Liberty Coalition page, and let's all get informed.
All righty. Appreciate it, Junior. Speaking of being informed, we
Thanks,
also,
Paul.
yes, sir, we have John Calvin Martin. He just texted me. He said that other meeting is the Southeast chapter of Patriots VAC 746 this Saturday. So you got the Northeast Arkansas chapter, you got the Southeast Arkansas chapter. If you want more information on those, go to the Facebook and then search for Patriots VAC 746. Ask to become a member. It's a closed group, but become part of the online sensation today, folks. They're on a mission. You don't need a permit to carry open or concealed in the state of Arkansas. And we're going to be back here in just a moment.